New Hampshire High School Hoop Show / Headbangers Ball
Love
on
it.
Saturday morning.
Can I get my own Headbangers Ball show after this?
Yeah, you can have it.
Give Adam and I an hour.
I'll sell you the time.
I'm totally down with that. I'll totally down with that.
You know what? You can have the 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. hour before
People
our
will come
show.
on and say, I thought I was listening to Money Talks, and these guys are talking about poison and warrant.
Well, Mark Hebert's Money Sense is coming up next from 9 to 11, as it does each and every Saturday morning. Dave Haley, NHSportsPage.com. We will have the video cast of the show up on the website tomorrow, so you can watch and relive the magic that just took place over the last couple of hours. Wanted to get into that overtime win last night by Memorial on the road at BG in Nashua. That's a good win for them. They had the loss against Dover last week, lost their cool and the game, had 4 technicals in the game against some Memorial players and Coach Jack Quirk. Strange week for them. They win the holiday tournament. They go out in the regular season. They lose, I think, their first game after the holiday break. All those technicals. Story comes out in the Union Leader with Jim Fennell. I was with Jim Fennell last Friday night at Goffstown, Pembroke, and then me and you were talking during one of the breaks last week during the show, and you mentioned something about, using the term athletic, the word athletic to describe a team, and
I'm glad you brought that up.
Somewhat saying that, it kind of has like a little bit of or it could be construed as having a racial connotation. And I just said, look, I think Memorial's very athletic. I mean, the first thing I think of when I look at that team is, man, they're athletic. And then some people, and I think Jack Quirk kind of said that in the paper.
He did.
And I don't know what the exact conversation went, but the quote in the paper was, people refer to us as athletic. They don't refer to us as tough or smart or whatever.
Right. Yep.
But, I mean, when I look at that team, they just look athletic. They jump out of the gym. They run up and down the court. I don't think the color of anybody's skin when I say that.
No. And I completely agree. And anyone who knows me, I don't care if you're green or yellow or black or white. I've been watching basketball my whole life. And the thing, why do we call Memorial athletic? Because they're throwing alley-oops. And in New Hampshire basketball, you don't see a lot of alley-oops. Conant is a tremendous program. They're not throwing alley-oops in Conant. I mean, that's not what you're going to get. So, of course you are. And why do I call Central such a smart team? I don't care what color the skin of the Central kids are. They don't turn it over. They play exactly the style that Doc Wheeler wants them. They grind it down and they execute. That's why you call them a smart team. So I didn't agree with him. I think it's a very broad statement to kind of come out and say, people say this about us. No. They don't always play discipline, that Memorial team. They don't. And I think their point guard, Conte is a smart little player. Yeah, absolutely. They have a reputation of being an undisciplined team. They work very hard. They're basketball players. Certainly, they get a ton of respect from the media. I mean, I know I write about them every week, and that they should be a contender in that. I thought that it was interesting to say that on one occasion at least he felt like the officials were against them.
I disagree with that.
I can only say this. I have a huge network of people that I talk to, coaches, officials. I talk to officials after the game. I talk to coaches all the time. A guy like Eric Saucier, we were texting during the break. I talked to 60 coaches. I really enjoy it. I have never, ever, ever, ever heard one person make any sort of racial comment about Memorial. Not one. And I wouldn't put up with it if they did. So when I read that, I'm not going to say he's wrong. He's in the mix. I'm not, but it's pretty broad brush to say that.
Let me ask you this question. I've made fun of my trouble pronouncing the names on that Memorial roster over the last couple of years. And anybody who has looked at a roster for Memorial looks at it and says, obviously, these kids ain't from, they're not native New Hampshireans. All right?
Sure.
Maybe some of them were born here. I don't know.
San Diegans.
San Diegans. You know what? The names are hard to pronounce. There's a lot of consonants. There's a lot of letters in those names. I mean, Kabongo Nalakalundi, all right? He's got a little brother, Sheaf Nalakalundi. You got Zubel Iridakunda. Those names are difficult to say, especially for a broadcaster. I'm not being racist.
No.
I'm not being,
No.
I mean, I make fun of it. But a lot of people screw up my name, Terrier. They assume there's an A. It's not the dog's name.
It drives you crazy. You bring that up alone.
But, I mean, but it's no big deal.
Mike
I don't take it
Fitzpatrick was
personally.
here joking about it. Remember, Fitzy in studio said, "I've learned their first name as a joke." So no, it's not. It certainly isn't.
So, but I'm not killing Jack Quirk here. I just I don't get it. I thought that there might be a little disconnect because Quirk is an older guy and these kids are young, and they play a lot of AAU ball, and I think he kind of criticized the AAU, and I know a lot of coaches do, and I'm not sure. I don't know enough about AAU.
There are good and bad AAU programs.
Right. I don't know enough about it to really make a definitive statement on it. But I know that high school coaches don't necessarily like the AAU situation because I think it takes away from their power.
Delve into the point of that with Memorial. It was Sudi Lett was expected possibly to get that job. He got passed over. Jack Quirk was involved with that process and kind of gave the job to himself. It had to be
ML
approved.
Carr.
I would love to ask the question of Jack Quirk, why did you think you were better than Sudi Lett? I'm not saying he's not. I know Jack Quirk has the qualifications to do it. For all I know, he's doing a phenomenal job, and he's the Bobby Knight of New Hampshire high school sports. All I'm saying is that was a weird situation when Sudi Lett got passed over from the get-go, and it hasn't gotten any less strange. And for people like you and I, it's gold, Jerry, gold.
Well,
because there's a lot to talk about.
Let's get Quirk on the show. I think that's our next step. We'll get Quirk on the show. We'll ask him to come on the show. He probably won't want to come on the show now.
Sure he will.
Although I do have a personal connection to him, and I could probably see what I can do to see if I can get him on the show. We got to take a timeout, come back. We'll wrap up the show, kind of look ahead at the schedule. By the way, Memorial is off on Tuesday. And then it's the Fitzy Bowl on Friday night at Bedford Memorial.
How about the week for Fitzy?
Bedford.
Trinity on Tuesday and then Memorial on Friday.
Oh, and a win on a three-pointer that came after the buzzer. What a week for him. Quick timeout, and we'll talk about some of the games coming up on Tuesday night. Give you a little preview of the schedule of games that we're interested in, games that I'm sure you're going to be interested in as well. It is the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show, WGIR AM 610 and 96.7 The Wave.
I'm glowing right now.
I have no idea what
Iron Maiden.
Oh, I have seen Iron Maiden in concert.
You have or haven't?
Have.
Yep.
Have.
You have lived.
Yes, I have lived. Eddie, right? He's in that big monster dude.
Eddie roams around the stage, man.
I think I remember going to Dave Haley's house one day. It is the New Hampshire High School Hoop Show. This is our metal segment. I remember going to your house and you played me this you had the Iron Maiden concert video on or something like that. It might have been before we were going to a show or something like that.
Live
at
in
Hampton
Rio.
Beach Casino.
Yeah.
Just looking at the schedule, Division I here, Bedford Trinity. That game is in Bedford on Tuesday. You got BG at Alvern. BG and Alvern's a good rivalry, always a good game. Interested in seeing what's going on with that. Let's see what Central is doing. I mentioned that Memorial's off on Tuesday. Central plays West, so city battle. That game at Manchester Central, I think you'd expect Central to win that game. Very quietly, Merrimack is 4-2. They play Central in Merrimack on Friday.
I can't figure.
I think they've had a pretty easy schedule. I mean, they lost to Bedford by 20. They lost to Nashua South only by 6. But I think Merrimack's had a pretty easy schedule. Even Tim Goodrich would tell us, you know what, we're certainly not the same team we were last year. But, they're going to be a tough out. They're a hard team to play. I just don't think they're as good as their record indicates. I think Nashua South certainly is. Their record 5-1. Very, very good basketball team. Pinkerton, to me, a little disappointing. You had said earlier you're not quite sure what the problem
They're 1-4.
is with them.
A lot of size, not a lot of guard play, and they don't hit foul shots. And that's huge. You know what? We talk about the best teams all the time in Division I. There's some subpar teams in Division I.
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5 teams that you can beat.
Timberlane for sure. Nashua North this year.
Keene's down there. North's way down, and Keene, is getting better under Dave Sontag, but they're a team that hasn't won a game yet. Salem's not where we thought they were going to be. Ruffin hasn't been playing, and they're not getting enough scoring.
Hey, to me, the game of the night, especially in D1, Winnicott at Spalding on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game.
That's going to be a heck of a game.
And they played in the Christmas tournament, and Winnacunnet beat them in a fairly close game. I want to say Dominic Parody got in foul trouble in that game. The book on Spalding is if you pressure them full court defensively, they'll turn the ball over a little bit. Half court, they'll kill you, but you can press them, and so obviously that's what Winnicunnet's going to do, because Winnicunnet does that to everybody.
So all you Seacoast fans, be sure, if you're looking for a place to watch the Pats game tomorrow, Buffalo Wild Wings in Rochester. I'll be there hosting an event from 4 o'clock until halftime, Patriots playoff viewing party. Dave, we're out of time. Give me a quick score, Pats Broncos, or excuse me, hopefully Pats Broncos a week from tomorrow.
I'd say 31-21 or 31-17, something like that. They'll win by a couple scores.
Adam Furious, what are you thinking?
34-14.
So you're looking blowout.
He
20
stole
points.
it. He just basically just jumped on my back at what I said.
Nope, absolutely not. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think that the Texans are going to kind of just crawl into a foxhole and not come out of it. They'll get a couple of touchdowns throughout the game. Maybe one in the first half, one in the second half, but that's all they're going to see for action.
I think the Patriots' running game is going to show the Texans, hey, we got a pretty good running game,
They're going to
too.
show the Texans how it should be done.
It's going to be like 48 degrees. By the way, did you see in Denver it's going to be a low of 10?
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Am I the
Let's
one that
go,
think the Ravens
Ravens.
could win that? Yeah.
I think the Ravens have a chance, but I think it's Denver, and I think it's the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Of course.
Please.
Of course.
Please let it be the Patriots. That's all I can say. Hey, we're out of time. Dave Haley, nhsportspage.com. Thanks again. We'll see you on the air next week. John Kesty, Adam Furious, I'm Pete Terrier. Check out the video cast on the website tomorrow. Mark Hebert's Money Sense coming up next.